Hello everyone, I'm Luxon, and today I'll be talking about Sub Power Up. Sub Power Up is a gear ability in Splatoon 2. It was first introduced in that game, but its effects are actually not entirely new. In Splatoon 1, there was an ability called Bomb Range Up that literally meant the more of it you stacked, the further you'd be able to throw your sub-weapon. However, this only affected 5 out of the 10 sub-weapons in the game, so if you were using half of the sub-weapons, any main or sub-abilities of Bomb Range Up would be completely useless. And so, in order to make it more usable in any level of play, rolling into the second game, they turned it into Sub Power Up and gave it effects for every sub-weapon. They also introduced the brand and parry, which has an increased chance of rolling it, and they converted every piece of gear that had Bomb Range Up as its main ability into Sub Power Up, so they'd still be useful. Now, in order to explain what Sub Power Up does to each of these sub-weapons, I'll be running 2 demonstrations of each one. For the first one, I'll be using this set of gear that you can see has no Sub Power Up on it whatsoever, and for the second one, I'll be using this set which has 2 mains of Sub Power Up. It would be 3 mains, but I didn't have shoes with Sub Power Up when I recorded this, so we're gonna go with 2. You could still see most of them really easily with that. Starting off, the first 6 of these abilities are actually really easy to explain because it's Bomb Range Up for all of these. Splat Bombs, Burst Bombs, Suction Bombs, Auto Bombs, which are new, Point Sensors, and Toxic Mists, which I still don't count as new because it's just a buffed Disruptor. For any of them, it will just increase the range you can throw it and nothing else. As you can see, they're all increased by the same range from about 3 segments in the testing range to about 4.5. Then it starts getting a lot more interesting. With the Curling Bomb, the actual speed it slides along the ground is increased, as you can see here. It moves faster, it moves fast enough to not only hit the back wall, but bounce back forwards and hit the dummy again before exploding, as opposed to the first one without Sub Power Up, which just kinda went back, bounced off the wall, and detonated immediately. Next up, we have the Ink Mine, which is probably the most difficult to see just from this demonstration, but what Sub Power does to it is increase the range of the blast. This will not only increase the damage range, as well as the turf coverage, but it will also increase the range of the point sensor that comes out and marks enemies in the vicinity. So with this, even though Ink Mine is honestly still the worst sub in the game by far, you'll at least stand a higher chance of not only damaging and marking the person who set it off, but maybe if they're bunched up with someone else on their team, you'll get that person as well. Now, the effect it has on the Sprinkler is actually tied directly into the change the Sprinkler had between games. In Splatoon 1, all the Sprinkler did was once you threw it out, it would spread ink at the same rate until it was destroyed. In Splatoon 2, however, it starts off going a lot faster and then slows down to a very slow pace over time. What Sub Power does to the Sprinkler is increase the amount of time it moves quickly before slowing down. So you will not only ink more, but you'll ink faster. It's very good when paired up with Special Charge Up. You'll be getting specials really quickly if you put your sprinklers in good places with this. Next up, we have the Splash Wall, which has a very simple effect, but I can't demonstrate it in the testing room, so what I'm going to do is get in this PB here, where I'm playing with Firefin Splat Charger against another player with the Firefin Splat Charger. I'm wearing my Sub Power Up gear, he's wearing no Sub Power Up. So my Splash Wall gets the effect of Sub Power, which is a little bit more HP. So when he destroys my wall, it takes him 9 shots to do it, but when I destroy his, since he doesn't have any Sub Power Up, it only takes me 7. This isn't really a significant HP increase, since tap shots don't really do that much damage to begin with, but it's there. If you want to use it on your wall, that's what it does. And to wrap things up, we have what's probably my favorite out of all of these, the Squid Beacon. It's not necessarily my favorite sub-weapon, but I think the effect Sub Power has on it is the coolest. It basically gives quick super jump to everyone who jumps to your beacons. So, if someone jumps to your beacon and you're wearing Sub Power Up and you laid it down, you'll jump to it faster. It's the same thing that quick super jump is, where the actual time in the air is the same, but the charge up time before you lift off is shorter, so you get even less time of vulnerability there. And you can sort of mess people up if they know that someone's jumping to your beacon, but you have the Sub Power, they'll land faster than they're anticipating, and it might trip them up if they're trying to camp someone. And that's it for this video. I will be making another one about this special power-up ability in the future, I would have done it already actually, but they haven't released a weapon with the bubble blower on it yet, so we don't know how that special works per se. But as soon as that's out, I'll get working on that. In the meantime, you can subscribe to me for more Splatoon 2 stuff. Got an ongoing Let's Play of Xenoblade Chronicles X, and a bunch of other stuff. I've also got Twitch and Twitter in the description, so you can follow those too. But until next time, this is Luxon, signing off. That video took like an hour to record, even though it was about 5 minutes of actually talking.